I just finished screening the film, and I am actually quite emotional from watching it. It it is so exquisitely done. Thank you for doing this. The opening woman, I think her name may have been Dory. Mm-hmm. Every time she was on the screen, first of all, I just was like, she stopped my heart. But the stories these women shared, I knew they existed. I knew that it happened, but you captured something that I will never forget. And I was wondering, when you guys were filming, did you have real severe emotional reactions to some of these stories?
Erica, I guess the answer to the question is absolutely. And
Yeah.
you hope for that. If it doesn't feel, if you're not feeling emotions in the moment, interviewing somebody, watching action take place, there's no way you can invent that.
Yeah.
And I think what we try to do as filmmakers is to communicate that emotion, to make sure that that's not lost in the translation when we edit the film, and that in fact we heighten it, because it's the stories are powerful, and they're stories that we never heard before. Dory's story about having being forced to call the mob for an abortion, being asked if she wanted a Chevy, a Cadillac. I mean, it's just
Unthinkable.
mind-boggling. And yeah, so we had a lot of sad days, but there was also some humor.
Yeah.
That was sort of unexpected and surprising. So we felt that too. Humor in an abortion story, we didn't imagine that would happen, but
No. When the
absolutely.
woman mentioned she was high, I like laughed. I was like, oh, I love that. But still, it was really powerful, all of it. And Diane, wow, how was it being interviewed? I mean, I'm sure you've been interviewed multiple times, but how did the filmmakers create a safe space to just be able to tell your story?
Well, first of all, I never had been interviewed before.
You hadn't?
No, I had been asked, but I never wanted to do it. It was something I had done in the past, and it wasn't really a part of my life. I decided to go along with being interviewed because of how horrible things are now, because I work at a clinic as a volunteer escort at an abortion clinic, and the women are harassed so horribly that I felt that I wanted to participate in a movie. The issue, it's like going back in time for me, reliving this part of my life. So I wanted to be interviewed. I never had been interviewed before. And I was very emotional when I was interviewed. In fact, I broke down crying twice. Once while I was looking at the cards, which I don't know if that was obvious, but I broke down then. And then this other really horrible part that isn't in the movie, in which I was reading the what we wanted to happen after our charges were dismissed. We had a press conference, and I was the one that read a list of things that that our group wanted going forth after Roe v. Wade, happened. Yeah. How we wanted abortion to be treated. And I said things like, be done by paramedics and only cost $100 and so forth. And I cried during that. I said, this hasn't happened. This never has happened. So I was very emotional.
Yeah.
And to your point, Erica, is, seeing Diane be emotional was very emotional for us, because the thing about Diane's tears in those moments it was rage. Yeah. I mean, it was rage. I can't imagine having put myself on the line like that so long ago and still be fighting the same fight, 50 years later. So to your point of, did we feel emotion in making this? I mean, that, to see that is quite emotional.
Yeah. I think that's that was the sense I was feeling in every frame of it. Rage was, and I've been feeling that rage anyway, but to see that, I loved how you've incorporated old photos and old footage, but to see that and to know that's not really old. I mean, like, this is now, and it was just so maddening. How long did it take you guys to gather all of that footage? How long did it take to have this full film come together?
You know, we started development years back, and Emma and her brother Daniel, who produced the film, both of them were involved and invited me aboard in around 2018. And so around the time that Brett Kavanaugh was being considered for the Supreme Court, we were well on our way. And we had a lot of the interviews under our belt, but then this thing called COVID came upon us. So that slowed us down a little bit, but we I guess all told, maybe 2.5 years in full swing, making this film.
Yeah. Oh, I just lost my thought. Yeah, I can't believe you hadn't been interviewed. Do you think a lot of the ladies that were a part of this just wanted to close that chapter and not revisit it, Diane?
I don't think it was so much close it and not revisit it. It's just that our lives moved on.
Yeah.
I know Eileen had done interviews before. Peaches, I don't believe she had done some, but nothing like this. She had done a little bit, but she works in a job. She's still working. So it's, how much do you want to reveal of your past illegal life working for, in a government job, really?
Yeah. I felt watching, I mean, I was just so upset that I didn't know all of your names and you weren't in my history books, and I was just like, this should not be. And yeah, I hope, what do you hope as filmmakers? What do you desire to come from this film?
Well, I just want to follow up on what you just said, Erica. That's a beautiful point, which is so seldom that, the history of women's contributions get told. Yeah. And so that was very gratifying for us to tell a story of this historical moment, this pretty profound historical moment, of the work that the women were doing to hold up this society and to make the society go and to take care of the other women that weren't being taken care of.
Yes.
So that is a beautiful point. And I just wanted to say that, I'm so glad that you felt that, because that was very present for Tia and I in making this film. So,
and to answer your question about what we hope, look, I hope that everyone, hope to hear people react to it the way you just did. I mean, so few people have seen this film, and so hearing your reaction is really quite moving for us.
It's so good.
That's the most you can hope for, is that people are affected by the story you're telling and are transported back in time, and also are in dialogue, with this moment, with this really critical juncture that we're in right now. Today is the 49th anniversary of the decision in Roe v. Wade. And it may very well be, we may not have a 50th anniversary, because these justices are chipping away at it and may overturn it by June. So yeah, I guess first of all, we want people to be moved by the story, and secondly, we want people to act based on that emotion. The truth is that women have lost access in so many parts of the country to abortion. Disproportionately poor women, rural women, Black and brown women. That's happening. That's not going to happen. We're not waiting till June. That has been happening, for years and years now. There's so many barriers to basic healthcare that, are affecting disproportionately the most vulnerable. And so there's a lot of ways for people to plug in, and we want to, we want groups who are at the forefront of fighting, for reproductive justice to find this film useful.
Yeah.
I want people to see that. Now you watch the movie, so you can see that some of the women are just so charismatic and so articulate. They're totally amazing. But then there's other women, more like me, that I learned my politics by my life experiences. And ordinary people can do extraordinary things. They can, and that's the message that I want people to have, and that we can go forward and do what has to be done. That's how we felt when we were working in the counseling service. This work had to be done, and people can do that, whether they do it by legal or illegal means. It can be done.
Yes, I felt that. I mean, the moment where the woman that was nursing, and I will know every single one of their names, but she was nursing after being arrested, I mean, these are yes, ordinary, yes, but extraordinary as well. And it definitely has activated something in me to fight more. In that, I thought you guys did such a great job of telling a full story. There's diversity there. There was, even the story about the Black doctor at the beginning. I wish I knew his name. I mean, we should all know his name. I think it's Dr. Howard.
TRM
Dr.
Howard.
TRM Howard, unsung hero, has been, for some reason, his name, it should be a household word, and it's not. He was in Mississippi, and he ran the Council of Negro Regional Organizations, and he helped to try to get justice for Mamie Till after her son was murdered in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And he was driven out of Mississippi by the Klan.
Yeah.
And he went to Chicago and set up his medical clinic and served women all over the city and all over probably the Midwest. It was extraordinary what he did. And so we were happy to be able to tell that story.
Yeah, but the Black woman that was just, there's so many women and looking out for other women. But I was wondering if with all the levels that you told in the story, if there's anything that you had to cut out that you miss, having been in a lot, I bet.
There's
such a big
there's so much we had to cut out. I mean, listen, abortion touches everyone's life. And at that time, illegal abortion touched everyone's life. And so, there were stories upon stories upon stories that did their job to spur us on through the production and be reminded how important, the message of this film is, but we couldn't possibly fit it all in.
Yeah.
It was everyone's life all the time. It was everyone's reality. There was just too much to tell. So, we did our best selecting, the most profound stories and piecing them together in the most profound way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, there is a lot of hard history out there and suffering.
Well, that's on us to go search for it now and bring it to light. But thank you so much, Emma, Tia, Diane, thank you for the work that you did on this. I really, really appreciate it. I'm honored to have been one of the first.